Everybody ready? Well, thank you everybody for being here this afternoon. I am pleased to announce that Ed Kraus has committed to continuing as police chief for the city of Fort Worth. Chief Kraus has proven himself over the past 6 months and during a very difficult time as our chief. He has been very responsive and visible in the community. He is open and transparent, and he is humble and exhibits sincere empathy. His leadership has been acknowledged by citizens throughout Fort Worth and by the many men and women in uniform. I chose not to conduct a lengthy national search, as Chief Kraus has more than stepped up and into the role as chief. We have many initiatives underway, including the independent third-party expert panel, which is reviewing the police department, and we will soon hire a police monitor. Chief Kraus has been open and welcoming to both the independent panel and the police monitor position. During Chief Kraus's past 6 months, I've received so many positive comments about his leadership, and I'm extremely confident in his ability to lead the police department. In every position he has served, Chief Kraus is focused on promoting community problem solving, reducing crime, and enhancing justice for all of our citizens. I am pleased to again announce Ed Kraus, Police Chief, continuing for the City of Fort Worth. Chief, congratulations. We look forward to a long future.
Let me just say I'm extremely humbled by the confidence the city leadership has shown in me, and I'm extremely honored to continue in this leadership role in partnership with the men and women of the Fort Worth Police Department and the great citizens of Fort Worth. We definitely had some challenges over the past 6 months, challenges I couldn't have gotten through without my faith, my family, and the support of the staff of the Fort Worth Police Department, who has worked tirelessly both on different initiatives within the police department and in reaching out to different members of the community and community groups to improve our relationship. And that's something we're certainly going to continue to build over the next, in the foreseeable future. This was a bit of a difficult decision because of some of the challenges we've gone through. But I was able to take some time off last week over the long Thanksgiving weekend with my wife and prayerfully consider whether this is something that we are ready to commit to. And we decided it was, and so I came back and shared that with city leadership. I was a little surprised that almost within a couple of days that they had made this announcement and actually made the official offer. So I appreciate that again. And I hope to do you and the citizens of Fort Worth and our men and women of our Fort Worth Police Department very proud. I am thrilled that my service to this community is going to end with this leadership role, and I will do my best to make it a better partnership with the community and lead this department into even better things. Thank you.
Any questions?
Mr. Cook has spoken to some people in the community, and you briefly touched on it in your opening remarks, but there are some people in our community who are concerned and want to know why there were not more candidates, why you didn't expand it to a national search, and why the public was really not involved in the choosing of a chief.
So I'll answer it this way. 6 months ago, when we announced Ed Kraus becoming the new police chief, I talked about at that time that we would let some time pass, right? I would get feedback from members of the community about Chief Kraus, and then we would decide at that time whether we needed a national search or not. As I mentioned in my comments, we have received so many positive comments about his leadership, about his transparency, about his being visible and everywhere in the community. So I would say that I was getting all kind of public and community feedback about the chief of police for the city of Fort Worth. And it's through a lot of that feedback and input that we're here standing today, and I'm so happy that he's committed to continuing to be the police chief of Fort Worth.
I know you say you didn't want to do a national search, but were there any other candidates within the police department that were considered besides of Chief Kraus?
I think we looked at what Chief Kraus had, as I mentioned again, stepping up into the role and performing the job, right, which he's been doing for the past 6 months, and he's doing an outstanding job. So no, there was no other internal candidates considered.
Chief, I know going back to the Race and Culture Task Force, you attended most or almost all of those meetings, and you're aware of all the racial issues going on. How would you describe the state of racial relations right now? How much work is left to be done? What would you like to see happen if we could snap your finger and change it?
Well, if I could snap my finger and change it, we'd be a very harmonious community. You are not going to find that anywhere in the United States right now. I think we've got a lot of work to do.
How do you plan to start to do some of that work?
Well, we've already started. When David and Jay asked me to step up into the interim role, one of the things we discussed was that I didn't want to simply be there to manage the police department in a holding pattern, that I thought there were things that we needed to do, and they said, go forth and make the positive changes you think are necessary. One of the things we're doing right now is reaching out to non-traditional partners in the community and bringing them in to our training academy to train our recruits. And I'm talking about people with prior criminal records, people that typically have had bad experiences or that have had bad experiences with the police at some point in their life. And we want them to come in and share with the recruits what those negative interactions with the police have done to their impression of the police and how it has impacted them, their lives, and their families' lives. And we're also bringing in some of those non-traditional partners to help with scenario training with our recruits, where they will come in and be role players and give our recruits who may be grown up in a sheltered environment opportunity to interact with people unlike themselves in the safe training environment before they get out on the street. So those are a couple of the initiatives that we're doing.
Can you talk a little bit about plans to diversify the police force?
That's something we've been struggling with for some time. We do have a recruiting unit. They do reach out to different groups. They visit historically black universities and colleges, and as well as Hispanic service institutions in an effort to promote the Fort Worth image, and this is a pathway for a career in policing.
Do you have any message for community members who feel like their voices weren't heard in this process about how moving forward their voices may be heard during the time of chief?
Yes, absolutely. We would love to partner with people that maybe don't see the police as their ally or as somebody that they traditionally would partner with. So I would just encourage them to reach out to us, because we are in a position now where we are looking to build those relationships and make stronger relationships with groups that we typically have not done so with in the past.
Chief, this may play with one of your responses you just made, but in terms of rebuilding community trust, where it pertains to the number of officer-involved shootings, how would you describe the current state of where we are in that process of rebuilding community trust?
I would say after the Tatiana Jefferson shooting, that knocked us back several flights of stairs, if we're talking about building up to a trust. So we've got a lot of work to do, as I said earlier. That definitely pushed us back, and we have to redouble our efforts to reach out to those groups.
Chief, what about the crime rate, especially violent crime? Are you happy with the way things are trending along those lines?
So we are down in violent crime this year, and crime overall roughly 3.6, 3.8% through the third quarter of this year. So our crime rate actually is down this year.
And what about staffing levels? Are you comfortable with the level of staffing that we have, or do you think more officers are needed?
Absolutely.
Well, let me take that.
No, absolutely not. We definitely need more officers. We had the Matrix Consulting study that said we needed a large number of officers immediately, and then they had a plan for the next 5 years as well. The number that were needed was, financially, it was not something that we could pursue immediately over a 1 or 2 year period. But working with the city staff, they did come up with a plan to add 35 positions over the next few years to get up to that number. And this year it was placed in the budget with the 35 officers, and we have plans for 3 more recruit classes starting in January, March, and early summer, I believe.
Chief, this is your chance to kind of introduce yourself to the entire community and beyond. Can you tell our viewers, what your career has been, where you started your career? Are you a dad? Just kind of give us more of a personal look into your history.
Okay, so I've been married to my wife for 28 years, and we have 2 kids, 2 sons. One's 21, one's 19, 22 and 19, sorry. Grew up in West Texas. My wife grew up around the Metroplex. We met at Texas Tech, and I followed her back here. The only law enforcement experience I have is in the Fort Worth Police Department. I've done a little over 27 years here, and I consider myself a patrol guy. Most of my career was in the Patrol Bureau at, the different ranks coming up, everything from rookie to lieutenant and captain in patrol. In fact, my first foray out of patrol was as a captain, where I moved over to the training division and led that division for a while. From there, I promoted to deputy chief, assistant chief, and now this position, but I consider myself a patrol guy still.
Big debate here, I'm sorry I've gotten it wrong before, but can you go on the record, is there an E on the end of your last name?
If you spell it Eddie, there's an E. No, no E on Kraus, Kraus.
Chief, I've got a question a little bit out of left field, but several weeks ago you allowed officers to start growing beards, part of the fundraiser, I believe, and that was for November, and you extended it in November. Is that something you would consider going forward to
Okay.
do that?
So let me speak to the officers of the Fort Worth Police Department. We're not going to have beards, not in the foreseeable future. That was a No Shave November fundraiser. We raised approximately $20,000, which we are going to donate to St. Jude's. Monday at 12:30 at Bolin. We're actually doing a check presentation to St. Jude's, and then the city's going through a United Way campaign at this point, and so we just thought, well, we'll extend that through December. If officers want to make a contribution to United Way, they can continue to keep the beards through the end of the year, and that's where it's going to stop for now.
If there was one thing that you feel like is the most thing that needs to be improved within your department, what would that be?
Within the department,
And you could also look as the department interacting with the community.
Okay. For both, it's got to be communication. It's always been something that's been detrimental in policing in general, and it's prevalent in the Fort Worth Police Department too. Our messaging, a lot of times we make assumptions instead of specifying exactly what we want and clarifying what's going on. It leaves our members in the dark, and it leaves our community wondering what we're doing. We do a lot of great things in the department. We're not so great at communicating them. We kind of think, well, as long as we're doing something good, we're doing well. But if people don't know about it, then we're missing out on that.
Good?
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.